Good. Okay, thank you. Unemployment, at least the level of unemployment indicates, the also indicates the health of the economy. That means that the economy has got active people working. And when we take this simple analogy, when an individual gets job and is doing, he earns an income. On that income, that person pays taxes. That person also affect demand. And when an economy, for economy to grow and for an economy to you can move forward, there should be demand for something. And when there is demand, there's on the other side of it, that demand has to be served in terms of production of what they need. And for economy to move forward, the engine has to roll, and the engine runs on production, and that's basically economic activities. So when unemployment is very, very high, it's an indication that the economy, health is questionable.
Mhm.
But when the unemployment is low, then that means that you are active, like you are actually making use of what people who are available or who are in the labor force that want to work. And when you find these opportunities for them, that means that they are going to earn an income, which will in turn provide revenues for the government. For the government to also undertake whatever projects it wants to undertake to continue to build the economy. So higher unemployment rate is a very, very serious issue that has to be dealt with. And one thing I want to add is that high unemployment has to also be treated as a national security issue. Okay, because if you don't do that, when someone is not having a job, you as an individual having a job, you are at risk because out of frustration, that person can attack you in terms of through this robbery and stuff. And if you are not lucky, that person can end your life. So whenever somebody is unemployed, psychologically, that person is not stable. And when it persists for a very long time, then it graduates to become a serious issue, which
Mm.
can lead to civil unrest
Yeah.
and other things. So this tells you that unemployment shouldn't be taken lightly, and government should try as much as possible to put in systems to curtail or curb this unemployment menace.
I think to add to that, unemployment has also been the major reasons why there has been, I mean, illegal activities going on in some countries like Nigeria, like Ghana, like South Africa, like Uganda, and to name a few. Ghana, for example, most of the youth engage in illegal mining. Now, armed robbery is on the rise, and you have countries that has high unemployment, basically has high like increase in social vices such as
Yep.
prostitution and all. So just
Yep.
as you indicated, high unemployment should be a national security issue that needs to be addressed immediately. With that said, can you elaborate on the link between unemployment and poverty levels in developing economies?
Okay. So linking unemployment to develop poverty is very, very, the relationship is positive because if you take the sustainable development goals, at least we all know the 17 sustainable development goals. And I will take the first, let's say, first four. So the first four talks about first one, poverty, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, and that's quality education. So look at it, if you take this four, if somebody in a country is unemployed, that means that that person is poor and that person falls in the poverty bracket. And when you fall into the poverty bracket, poverty does not only entail you not any income, but it goes beyond that you'll be malnourished. So that means that if you don't have job, you're unemployed, you are in the poverty, bracket. That means that you cannot afford, a meal. You'll be malnourished. So that you'll be suffering from hunger. And then when you are sick, you cannot access healthcare because you don't have the funds to access healthcare. And when it comes to education, it will be difficult for you to even get access to education because you don't have the means to what? Afford. So unemployment and poverty levels, they are linked and it's very, very critical in the developing economy. So for a country to develop, and unemployment has to be tackled because when you tackle this unemployment, that means that this first four sustainable development goals, poverty, hunger, good health, quality education, will be dealt with. And when that is done, the country is going to be peaceful because when somebody is in a poverty bracket, that person can do anything. And that person is hungry, suffering from hunger. That person can do anything. The person cannot access good health. Your guess is as good as mine and cannot access education as well. And we are in a global village where we think education is very, very important. And because of somebody not having access to employment, that person cannot access this education. So unemployment and poverty levels are very, very linked because when the unemployment goes down, these four items that I've listed will be positive.
Okay, yeah, that's well said. So let's wrap up with the last question. Looking at how critical unemployment is towards development, because we've seen that high unemployment eventually leads to high poverty levels, as you've indicated. So reducing unemployment rate is critical to reducing poverty levels, reducing hunger, and eventually promotes human development. What do you think are some of the strategies and interventions that have been effective in addressing unemployment and promoting inclusive growth and development in developing economies?
Oh, okay. So before I proceed to that, this I just remember that we have this as a student of economics, this Okun's law that's linking what unemployment and growth rate. Says that to open the statistical relationship between unemployment and growth rate of an economy. So he said if you want to reduce unemployment, let's say by a percentage point, that means that that country must grow beyond its potential level. So let's take Ghana. If Ghana's growth rate, let's say for this year or for last year, is 2%. If Ghana wants to reduce unemployment by a percentage, that means that the growth rate of Ghana for 2024 must grow at a rate of 4%. That's according to the Okun's law. So because it's a statistical relationship, which he did, and at least there's some relationship, statistical significance on that. So it tells you that unemployment and economic growth go hand in hand. So to come back to your question, when we take Ghana, for instance, you've
Okay,
heard of,
sorry to cut you there. So we have just 2 minutes to finish this. So maybe you can wrap it up in 2 minutes.
okay, so for Ghana, yeah, you know of some of the policies that were undertaken by this current government, like the NAPCO, NAIB, planting for food and job and other stuff. But it seems they are not sustainable. You see, so now it seems government has to, come out with sustainable policy, and that one will be dependent on what? A development policy, development plan. So when we have a development plan, we can derive from the development plan what we want to do. What are we going to do about entrepreneurship? Are we creating an enabling environment that an entrepreneur can feel comfortable, can able to access loans? Now, it will be difficult going to access loan because of the high cost, and you have all the macroeconomic indicators on the high. So, if even you are self-employed, see the challenges you are facing. So, government first has to, have an adopted development plan, and two, infer from those development plans and tackle economic issues like the macroeconomic indicators, try to make it, favorable and sustainable so that when we come to lending rate will be, favorable, inflation on the low, exchange rate, tackling those things. And any other thing that affects, development, because when the development is affected, it intends affect whatever or variables that are at play in the economy. So for what I'll say that we need a development plan. And when we have them, things like promoting entrepreneurship, trainings and linking education to, real world situations, and trying to make sure that there are policies that makes it possible for students whilst in school to be undertaking summer jobs like outside there. That will build your experience level, because you have students that graduate but they know nothing because they've not experienced anything in a working environment. So the most important thing is to have development plan, and that development plan will indicate the state and structure of our economy. Then we'll know how we'll be transitioning, because as it stands, servicing is the leading contributor to the GDP now. But we've not, made use of the agriculture side. We've not exhausted it. There's more to be done over there. And if you are able to do that, that place will absorb much people into unemployment. And when we are growing, we'll be transitioning. And when we are transitioning, the unemployment will be moving from agri to industry. So that's how the development path goes. So when you are developing every stage of it, you'll be transitioning, you'll be, reallocating the resources to different sector. So we need a very, very, deep thought out development plan that serves our needs, that is unique to our system. In that case, I think we will have a journey where we will know what to do. And in the course of it, we'll be doing our evaluation, monitoring and adjusting, correcting and knowing what is good and what not good. Then we'll be doing it over time, and we'll see that we'll get to where we want to go.
Okay, thank you so much for joining in today. So, if you have any comments or anything to add, you can add it in the comment section. Our time is up, so we'll end here. We would bring you another session of it next time. If you liked this conversation, kindly don't forget to leave a like and click on the notification bell icon. George, thanks once again for joining in.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right, bye.